How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome into the pack. We are here with our week one recap, week two preview. Very exciting time. Football season's back. I'm excited to be here. I know Zach's excited to be here. So, Zach, see you all. You look bundled up as if you're ready for some football kind of weather. I'm into it. How you feeling sitting here at 1-0? I know we didn't get to preview the games together, but I'm very happy that we are recapping a big win for the Packers. That was very fun for me. But how are you feeling?
Okay, what the fuck does that even mean? I'm always here. I'm the one that's always here. What are you talking
Yeah,
about, idiot?
Chris just likes to take shots at Zach because that's just part of his brand. Look, I'm sure in a matter of moments, Chris, I'm shocked that yesterday I did not get a message from you because yesterday was National Bald and Beautiful Day, which, I mean, if anyone's bald and
Wait,
beautiful,
really?
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it's today or yesterday. I saw it. I saw it on Twitter, and I was shocked that I did not find out from Chris. So I
What the
guess,
hell?
yeah, maybe Chris is taking it easy on me.
They have days for everything out nowadays,
Yeah,
I
it is for
guess.
everything. Yeah,
Uh no, I like to live like a polar bear. Like I have the AC blasting at all times. I have a fan on me. I like the cold, So I'm staying bubbled up. It's not quite fall weather here yet. It's not like the leaves are changing colors and it's overcast and cloudy and beautiful. No, I wish.
I
I
I
wish it was
wish
like
that.
that.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that desperately.
Yeah. How are you, Eli?
I am good. I have to say, I feel like this win, this Sunday experience. I mean, it could not have been a better just start and transition back into like season mode. I think especially being in Chicago, like I could feel the sadness around me, and it makes me so happy. Where it's like I'm just like in the elevator, and I could look across and see this person's face, and just the depression and sadness of watching their team fail them once again fills me with joy. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be as relentless as possible on these with these
Yeah.
people on Twitter. Just, I mean,
I know.
there
I
was a
liked your
long,
tweet earlier. I feel like people have gone off a little easy.
yeah, no, like what the fuck? Like 5, 6 months of them constantly talking shit, unprompted out of nowhere. Oh, you're obsessed with Justin Fields, and then they're turn around and tweet something about Jordan Love and some bullshit, or you know, and all of a sudden one day we get our jabs in and we're done and we move
Yeah.
on. We're on to the Falcons. Fuck no. I want to spend the entire season like sticking these people's faces into the dirt. I want to rub their fucking nose in it.
I like that.
It can't just be one day of a little bullying, like, haha, we beat you, same old Bears, and then
Yeah.
fucking and just move on. No, absolutely not. Like I said earlier, I want to take their will to live. I want to
Yes.
snatch it from them. I want
Yeah.
them to wake up every single day hating their lives because of their football team. That's
That is exactly yeah, Ben, that is good stuff. um but yeah, no, I do feel like Packer fans, like we had our fun Sunday, probably even Monday, but already Tuesday it was kind of like dying down, and here we are Wednesday talking about the Falcons when until week 18, we should just be throwing clips up, talking about some of the stats, which were tremendous. I mean, just the overall domination, start to finish, that happened on Sunday. It should not be forgotten anytime soon.
yeah, yeah. And I've also noticed that like Bears fans for the most part, like obviously they shut their mouths. Like I have not
Yeah.
seen the same bullshit we were seeing before week one. I have not
Yeah.
seen any of that. The only kinds of things I've seen from Bears fans and Bears reporters is just like doom posting. Like, oh my god, it's on Eberflus and it's on Getsy. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to run an offense. But it's never Justin Fields' fault. It's everyone
No.
else's fault except his.
Every
But
single tweet is coaching. None of it, none of that entire game is on Justin Fields, according
yeah,
to Bills Twitter.
yeah. So this was like the sweetest win in a long time. 9 straight wins over the Bears, 7 straight by double digits. Or no, not digits. 2 scores.
Two scores.
So they're just smacking the shit out of them. Like I would be questioning my fucking life at this point if I was if I was a Bears fan.
Seeing like Barstool Chicago, whether it's Big Cat or some of the other guys, and like just the open despair that they're talking since Sunday, where it's just like, we had all this hope. We thought it was going to be different. And once again, it was the same thing we've seen for the last 50, really 30 years. But yeah, it's nice. It feels great. It was a long off season. I think for Packer fans, maybe people won't want to admit it. I don't know if there was fear about this game, but obviously when you're going from a Hall of Fame quarterback, you don't know. And Jordan Love, of course, answered a lot of questions. Still early, but looked the part so far. But before we get to the recap, let's just run through some quick news for the Packers today, most notably some absences from practice. David Bakhtiari, I'll just get out of the way. That's to be expected and not a concern. But Aaron Jones, hamstring, as we saw on Sunday. Christian Watson, another hamstring. And Quay Walker is in concussion protocol after that pick six of Justin Fields, which nearly sent me into cardiac arrest. That was one of the better moments that I can remember. So, yeah, we will see how these guys progress throughout the week. Matt LaFleur said, he'll give Aaron Jones the whole week to see. Classic Matt LaFleur stuff. So I guess we'll see how practice goes the next few days. And then seems noteworthy enough, not only because of his name, but because of what he's done in the NFL. Michael Jordan, the guard the Packers signed to the practice squad. I think he has, 29 starts under his name?
About, yeah. He's pretty experienced.
Yeah, so anytime you can add that to depth in your offensive line, that's already looked really good, and we had high expectations for, that's nice. Again, we hope to not have to see Michael Jordan on the field, but yeah, I guess we will see how that goes. But I feel like at this point, Michael Jordan has had his time. He needs to just move on. So let's just jump into it. Jordan Love, can you have imagined a much better start to the Jordan Love era than what we saw on Sunday? 3 touchdowns, no picks, highest passer rating in the NFL right now.
It was a great start. The stat line doesn't tell the entire story because he did miss a few throws. There were some plays where he obviously could have done better or he could have been a little more accurate, which obviously we know is going to be a little bit of an issue for him. It was at Utah State. It has been so far in his limited time in the NFL. But 15 to 27, 245, 3 touchdowns. You can't complain with that. You can't complain at all. And one of them was a beautiful kind of back shoulder throw where he allowed it was a fade that allowed Romeo Doubs to get up and just snatch it right out of the air, right after that big play to Luke Musgrave. So, Jordan Love showed exactly what we've been hearing all summer, through training camp, through the preseason. He showed command of the offense, understanding of the offense. He ran the offense. He didn't can a single play from Matt LaFleur, which obviously there's two sides to that coin. There's, okay, you kind of want Jordan Love to adjust at the line based off of what he's seeing. You want him to change the play. That was something Aaron Rodgers did all the time. On the other hand, you trust Matt LaFleur as a play caller. You trust what the call. So obviously there's both sides of that coin. But regardless, it was an encouraging debut. Didn't turn the ball over. Didn't commit any costly mistakes. The only real kind of blemish on that stat line is that fumble, the fumbled exchange with Josh Myers. But he turned it into something. He picked up the ball, rolled out, found Luke Musgrave deep on a leak play, and they made it work. So, they obviously rode the run game. So that's going to be, I think, big for the Packers this season, regardless of how Jordan Love looks. It's riding that running game. Aaron Jones had 11 touches from scrimmage, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he's obviously the engine of this offense. And if he can't go this week, then that's going to be a pretty significant blow, and that's going to put a lot of weight on Jordan Love's shoulders. But regardless, it was an encouraging debut. There's a lot to build from, and this is going to be this is going to be his first year as a starter. He's going to have some nice numbers. He's going to have some throws that he wishes he could have back. Same could be said for any player in the NFL on any given Sunday, but it's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be sporadic. He's not going to have good days, but he's going to have great ones. So, it's going to be really fun. Week 1 was a very, very encouraging start, especially over a rival.
Yeah, to not only do it in week 1 where, maybe there's some jitters, some nerves going into it. And as we've kind of said the whole offseason, cool, calm, and collected. Jordan Love, it looked like he was just playing in his backyard where it was just nothing affected him. Even just that one play with the fumble then to Musgrave, it's kind of like a microcosm of the whole thing, all in one play. right, it starts going to shit, and he doesn't panic. He doesn't even just like jump on the ball. Okay, take the play, whatever. Picks up the ball, turns around, and completes a 40-yard pass. Sure, the guy was wide open, but there was a ton of pressure in his face. He threw it kind of falling away. That was awesome to see. But also, I think that drive after the Bears scored their only touchdown of the game, when it got to 24-14, a little bit scared, things were maybe getting tight. And what does he do? Comes out, scores a touchdown, and there was no panic. There were no nerves. And that is, I feel like that is what kind of separates good from great kind of players. And it's not something you see a lot, for sure, out of a guy starting in his first real start. So that was really good to see. But you brought up Aaron. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and above all else, he was clutch on the money downs. He was great on 3rd and 4th down. I think he was 8 for 10, 153 yards, and 1 or 2 touchdowns. But either way, he was remarkable when the Packers absolutely needed him to be.
Yeah, he just in so many in the moments where you need your quarterback to be the leader and to make the plays, he did that. So it's awesome to see. But yeah, Aaron Jones, we don't need to say. I mean, we say it every week. I mean, the guy is a freak. He is incredible. When he's on the field, they're just infinitely better. And obviously, if he's not on the field someday, it will make an impact. But, I mean, Aaron Jones Sunday, were you at all surprised at just how effective? I mean, every time he touched the ball, it was like an automatic gain of like 6-7 yards, if not 50 plus. So, yeah, any surprises there? Because we're going to obviously get to his running mate in a second.
No, I mean you expect these kinds of things from him. He's one of the leaders in that offense. He's one of the elder statesmen of the team. He took that screen pass 51 yards. He knew how to follow his blocks right up the right sideline. He was clutch on that 4th and 3 or 4th and 5, whatever it was, the 35-yard play that that he scored on. So, it demonstrates his not only his versatility but just his value in the offense. Obviously, we know he's great as a runner. He's fantastic. But as a receiver, I mean, he led the team in receiving, and I think that's imperative. When you're missing Christian Watson, you could potentially be missing Christian Watson again this week. Having someone like that who kind of knows how to navigate the offense and knows what to do with the ball in his hands and is as electric as he is with the ball in his hands, that's so significant for your offense. And it's not surprising. We all know this is what he is. We all know what he provides. He's the spark plug. That's what he is. Yeah. He lights a fire under everyone's asses.
Yeah, no, Aaron Jones is literally, I mean, he's kind of the engine of the Packers offense. I believe that even with Aaron Rodgers on the field, which now that I mentioned his name, I was not planning on it, at least maybe not till the end.
No, shut up. You were going to talk about it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I was going to do it at the end of the show to not get in the way of, our excitement. But yes, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want you to start crying. So
yeah, no, heartbreaking stuff. I wish him a speedy recovery. That was as brutal and kind of as unbelievable, almost movie-like as it gets. I still don't even understand how that happened.
So bizarre. Like, all offseason, all that hype, all of Hard Knocks, everything. Runs the pyrotechnics and the fireworks in New York on September 11th. He runs out with the American flag. The scene is, incredible. And 4 snaps in after, 2 pass attempts, tears his Achilles. That's just insane. And I know everyone's kind of taking like Chris, for example, here. He's a piece of shit, but no, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
the Packers aren't getting it first. It is what it is. It was probably going to be a high first anyway. The Jets are probably going to be, within that division conference title game kind of, area. It was going to be in the mid to late 20s of the first round. But now they're probably going to stink. Now it's probably going to be a high second. So, you know what? And the Packers, they make their money in the second round. That's how I'm looking at it. Like, you can find gems at any point in this draft. It depends on how good your scouting department is, whatever. That separation of 10 to 15 spots, it's not really going to. It doesn't really put much of a damper on things for me. You know what I mean? But that's from like a football management roster perspective, whatever. The reality is losing Aaron Rodgers sucks ass. And he was going to have a great year in New York. We know how Aaron Rodgers is when he has a chip on his shoulder, when he has something to prove. And that's why it was a possibility that I didn't think he would potentially come back from this, but his Instagram post tonight kind of swayed me. He's definitely going to come back. So I think now he'll probably have the biggest chip on his shoulder in his fucking career.
Yeah.
Coming back at 40, 41 for, from a torn Achilles. Like, that's going to be some crazy stuff.
Yeah, no, it is. It's going to be an interesting journey. Hopefully we see him back as soon as possible. Week 1 next year would be great. And yeah, that just it really sucks. Sucks for Jets fans, for Packer fans, but for all football fans, football was better when Aaron Rodgers was playing. It's just a fact. But let's just
crack.
And so, yeah, that is always a good time. But let's get back to the Packers. And I hate trashing any Packer or just, hating on any Packer, especially a guy that I really like as a person. But we got to talk about A.J. Dillon. We talked about it all of last year. And here we are again, week 1. And I just feel like he really could not have looked more ineffective with the ball in his hands. And maybe it's when you're also going up with Aaron Jones, where it's like every time Jones touches the ball, it's like fireworks, and then Dillon touches the ball, and it seems like at best we're talking about a 2 or 3 yard gain. But for a second-round pick, I mean, again, I feel like I don't know who tweeted it, but if A.J. Dillon wasn't a second-round pick, I don't even know if this guy would be still on the team. I don't know if he'd be playing. Like, I don't know what he showed outside of goal line carries that I would argue he's not even necessarily more effective than Aaron Jones, but last year he finished off the year with like 5 touchdowns in the last few games. It was nice to see, but am I overreacting, or a lot of Packers fans overreacting to just how perplexing it is to see A.J. Dillon and his inability to make any kind of real impact on offense?
I like that you brought up, the kind of, what's the word? Just the kind of differences between Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Because when you see Aaron Jones out there and he's a human spark plug and he's running between the tackles and he's, bouncing between people, and then you get A.J. Dillon in there and he's just this kind of freight train that loves he can blow over with a gust of wind, so
he's a freight train without the power of a freight train. So it's like
pretty much,
yeah.
So it's easy to look at that and be like, oh my God, get this guy out of here. We have Aaron Jones in there and we can do everything we want, but A.J. Dillon comes in there and can't move the ball. He can't run between the tackles. He can't, average more than 1.5 yards per carry. I mean, Lambeau LeBeau is pretty much doing our fucking analysis for us. I mean, everything he said is true to an extent. You would expect a 247-pound running back to run with more power, to lower his pads more often, running behind his pads. And that's something Matt LaFleur always talked about, something he talked about over the summer as something that they've been working on with A.J. Dillon. But you haven't seen that yet. I know it's week 1, and obviously there's a lot of room for improvement there, but we haven't seen that yet from A.J. Dillon. And there's
this when they decided let's do the outside toss to fucking A.J. Dillon. What the hell?
That's another thing. Like that's not on A.J. Dillon. That's play calling. That's Matt LaFleur. And a lot of times this past weekend, A.J. Dillon was kind of set up to fail with the call on the field. So, some of it is A.J. Dillon not being a really, behind his pads, powerful running back that they drafted him to be. But a lot of it is also play calling. They're running the wrong plays with him that they should be running with someone, with speed. Someone that is able to stretch to the sideline.
Yeah.
But I also want to point out, I mean, we saw it in A.J. Dillon's rookie season. When they drafted this 247-pound running back, that when it gets cold and it's chilly outside and, freezing outside, players do not want to tackle A.J. Dillon. That is when he is so much better. Like that game against the Titans, he put up, it was like 120 something yards, 124 yards, I think it was, and 2 touchdowns. He was running over guys. He was running with power. He was a menace in the open field. We haven't seen that A.J. Dillon last year. We haven't seen him this year yet. But when the weather starts getting colder and he becomes more of a hassle to tackle, then we'll probably see 2021 A.J. Dillon. We'll see him running with force.
Not to cut you off, but just I'm looking at his numbers from last year. And what's crazy is that somehow he actually has a pretty significantly lower run per carry over the last handful of weeks than he did the first 10 weeks of the year, which I did not expect. Again, he got in the end zone, but I mean, literally weeks 14 through 18, he had an average of about 3.2 yards per carry. Before that, it was usually over 4. So I don't know. Again, that's just a few games, but it's
was that last
just
year? Was that last
frustrating.
season?
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
not
I
putting
wasn't
too
going to
much
look at his
stock.
rookie year because I don't think, I was saying he just didn't get enough carries. But yeah, obviously against the Titans, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I feel like even in the second year, we saw some stuff. And then last year it was like kind of like a step back. And this is only 1 week. And, maybe he just needed to get his feet under him. But the problem is, it's stuff we've already seen for 3 years, like very consistent, repeated issues that he just doesn't seem to get behind. And I don't know where Lambeau said it, but here, what do you think this is? Why does he run like this no matter what's happening at all times? He's running the ball like this, and he holds the ball so high. I feel like he's going to fumble every time he gets hit.
Well, that's probably why he holds the ball like that. He doesn't want to fumble it. Two arms for safety, but also, when you run like that, naturally you're a little harder to bring down. Naturally, you absorb contact a little differently when you run like that, because you're keeping your shoulders low, you're keeping your pads low, and anybody who played football can attest to that. You see a lot of guys, even when guys on defense, when they're about to deliver a hit, they're not always leaning in shoulder first like this. Sometimes they're coming in downwards like this, head to the side. They're leaning in straight shoulders just like this, and they have their arms kind of tucked in like this. That helps you kind of embrace a hit a little better. So I feel like that's a reason why he does it. Could also be instinct dating back to Boston College. I'm not totally sure, but it is kind of bizarre because you would expect a running back that big to tuck that ball like it's a fucking baby and cradle that thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And Ben's right. He does that all the time, even when it's not short yardage situations. When you would expect him to do it, it's kind of like a habit. It's bizarre. So yeah, we need to see more out of AJ Dillon because last week, especially if he's going to be leading that backfield in Atlanta, he needs to be better.
Yeah, I think, if Aaron Jones can't play this week, obviously we would expect Emmanuel Wilson to get onto the active roster, but I would hope, if for sure anything in probably the passing game, but in general, use him. Like, I just feel like AJ Dillon, maybe if he ends up with 25 carries, could he walk out with 80 plus yards? Sure, but he's just not ripping off big plays, and it's just tough to see. But let's move on from that to maybe the most positive part of this offense, maybe outside of Aaron Jones, but Romeo Doubs. I feel like, not to pat myself on the back, and not that he would look bad, but I have just been all over Romeo Doubs all offseason, and to see week 1, I think only played like 29 snaps, and to do what he did in the limited amount of time, scoring 2 touchdowns, looked as good as he did. Do you think, do you look at Doubs and Watson as kind of like a 1A, 1B, or do you still see, Watson as the clear leader of this room and Doubs, stepping up with him out of the game?
No, I think they complement each other. We know Christian Watson can win deep. We know he's that downfield threat with, crazy speed. But Romeo Doubs can win deep too. He can create separation as well. And we talked about this leading up to the game, how, Christian Watson out there, he's going to be able to stress the safeties and get behind the defense. And that in turn, that's going to open up some of the things underneath. So guys like Romeo Doubs, guys like Jaden Reed, guys like Luke Musgrave, they're going to be able to feast on some of those underneath stuff. I think they complement each other perfectly. They're little different of players, little bit. They have similar qualities, but at the same time, they're both weapons that need to be accounted for.
We have a new viewer to the show. I've never seen this name before.
I don't know who that
is. Jen, we love that you are supporting us. And yes, Romeo Doubs, I will say he's doing a better justice than the last guy to wear 87. No offense to that person, because I did like him. Who I'll leave him unnamed. Zach, I'm sure you have figured it out by now.
Did someone
former
else?
Tight end.
Wait, what?
No, I said former tight end.
Who wore 87?
Yeah. You really forgot about this man so quick?
Oh, Jake Sternberger, duh.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, shit.
I was like, who the fuck am I missing?
Yeah, no, I thought I was losing my mind. Like maybe it wasn't, I was wrong about that. But yeah, so Romeo Doubs is very exciting, but also very exciting. Luke Musgrave. Maybe not the biggest stat line ever. Obviously, the big catch wide open. It was still kind of an impressive catch, though. But also his blocking, I feel like, was a lot better than maybe we would have expected, considering it was talked about a lot in training camp that there was concerns. But from what I saw, it looked at the very least serviceable, if not pretty good. Did Luke Musgrave in at least one game kind of give you the encouragement that we've all kind of had the hype for all offseason with him.
Yeah, I know. I saw you post that cut up of all of his blocking, of him just mauling guys. And yeah, that was kind of a big bugaboo, in his game, whether he'd be able to do it efficiently enough at this level. And obviously, if you can't block in Matt LaFleur's offense, you're probably not going to get the snaps.
Yeah.
That's a big reason why Ben Sims got 9 snaps and he was picked up last week.
Oh, shit. I was confused. I saw that was he was 89, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, because I was like, who the hell is that for a second?
Hey, you're hot. Yeah, that was the interesting part to me. I feel like I know we're talking about Luke Musgrave right now, but Tucker Kraft outsnapped Ben Sims 13-9. He's a 3rd-round pick, 3rd-round rookie. Obviously, a lot of hype around Tucker Kraft, not so much as Luke Musgrave, but still, outsnapped Ben Sims 13-9. It was a little close, and we saw that one. I don't even know what the hell you would call that formation where they were out. It was 13 personnel. They had like 3 tight ends out there. Yeah, it was really bizarre. It was really fun stuff from Matt LaFleur, I feel like, but they're getting these tight ends involved in a lot of different ways, and it's intriguing because you're putting in. Ben Fennell said this, friend of the show, Ben Fennell.
Mm-hmm.
He said this. Matt LaFleur is putting all kinds of different things on tape, all kinds of different formations, all kinds of different packages, and he's giving teams so much to prepare for just from 1 week of football. We know during the preseason they ran somewhat of a vanilla offense. They weren't putting everything out there that they have in their repertoire. So it's going to be fun to see how they kind of move from that. And Luke Musgrave is kind of a crucial part of that. He's a crucial part of what they were able to do in some of those packages. So it was a really, really interesting game from him in week 1. Obviously, he had that big 37-yard catch where they ran the leak. But there were also moments on tape from what I saw that he was getting open downfield. Wasn't targeted, but he was running free all over tape. So he's a matchup nightmare for these defenses.
Yeah, no, I mean, just thinking when you have Watson and Dobbs both out there with Musgrave in the middle, Aaron Jones in the backfield, like, sure, you want to say young, inexperienced, whatever, it is still going to be really hard for defensive coordinators to choose who am I going to cover, how am I going to cover all these players. So, again, we knew this would be kind of a developmental year, but if all these guys can grow together and become the players we think they could, I feel like we're looking at a future juggernaut kind of offense, like in a major way.
Yeah, and that was the big thing we all talked about all summer was this team growing together, establishing chemistry together, going through the ebbs and flows of a season together, going through the struggles together, facing adversity together, how they respond from that, how they grow from that. Like you said, could be a special group.
Yeah, no, it's going to be exciting. The offense was obviously very exciting basically all day, a little bit of a lull in the first half, but I think the defense was arguably even more exciting. And we still have to get to the Falcons game, so not to go too deep into everything, but there was a lot to take away from that defensive performance. I guess for you, what is maybe, we'll each do like our biggest takeaway from what the defense did on Sunday, limiting Fields, the Bears offense, and just wreaking havoc.
I don't even know where to freaking start. Dara at Packer Report, can't pronounce his last name. I don't want to butcher it, but he did a great piece on it. Just about all the stunts that they ran, all the things that Joe Barry was deploying, and maybe Joe Barry being up in the booth, maybe that is like a fucking godsend. Maybe that is what they needed. So 2 years wasted when all they needed to do is move him up to the booth. So
just get him a little bit further away from the players. No, but I get it.
You got a bird's eye view from up there. You can see different, the things you need to change personnel wise. What you could take advantage of as a defense. But they ran a lot of stunts. They were just wreaking complete havoc up front. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But they were causing problems up front. Devontae Wyatt especially had a great game. Carl Brooks, rookie in his first game, he looked great. Lucas Van Ness, he had that sack of Fields where, Fields was getting out of tackles all game. Like he was bouncing around. He refused to be brought down. There was they ran a corner blitz with Jair coming and he couldn't wrap up Fields. I think it was on the first possession actually. So they were doing, and Colby Wooden, sorry, Ben, but they were doing a lot of different things that we haven't necessarily seen from Joe Barry's defense the last 2 years. And, I think now they have the athletic freaks up front to where they can do these kinds of things, to where they can run these kinds of stunts. And we know how much the safety position has been talked about all summer, but it didn't really seem like much of a deficiency. It didn't seem like much of a weakness on Sunday. Especially Darnell Savage. He had, I think, his best game in 2-3 years. He led the team in tackles. He was flying around sideline to sideline. He was one of the short tacklers on defense. If he wrapped up a guy, he was bringing them down.
Yeah.
So it was an encouraging start for the defense. Obviously, I'm not buying in yet. I know Joe Barry, and I know what the fuck to expect. I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket right now, but it was a good start.
Yeah, no, I thought you were going to lead with Darnell Savage, knowing your love for the safety position and his, looked really good. Again, it's 1 week, but Darnell Savage turning around and becoming the player they hoped he would, or even close to the player they hoped he would totally bring this defense to the next level.
And that's another thing too. I think so much of what they were able to do flexibility-wise on Sunday was because they actually had a trustworthy safety back there. They actually had a safety that was getting down and dirty in the teeth of the defense, playing closer to the line of scrimmage on some of these plays. And he wasn't a weak point. He wasn't the odd man out in the defense. So yeah, if he can take a leap, that's gonna be huge, not just for him, but for this defense entirely.
Yeah, that would be huge. And another thing just that is obviously very huge was getting Rashawn Gary back on the field. Rashawn Berry, yeah. Joe and Rashawn have a son, Rashawn Berry. But no, Rashawn Gary, I think it was about 10 snaps with 5 pressures. I'm not good at math, but that's a pretty good percentage. I would put it about 50%.
I think Matt LaFleur gave him 7. The Packers gave him 7 pressures.
Okay, so even better.
7 pressures in fucking 10 pass rushes. That's
not even real. So Rashawn Gary, I think we can say, there's still he'll be on a pitch count for, I'm sure, a few more weeks, but I think we can say he's basically back. But seeing what Luke Van Ness did, chasing down Justin Fields to the sideline, to the edge, where I feel like you're not going to see a lot of defensive ends, especially guys that like Van Ness that play inside and out. So he's not necessarily the thinnest guy ever. To track him down like that was just super impressive. And overall, the rookies on the defense, him, Brooks, Wooden, seeing what they did. I think it was Van Ness and Brooks, 2 sacks. I think the first time ever that 2 rookies in their debut game.
No, first time since I think 1982.
Oh, okay. Well, a long time.
It's been a long fucking time. Yeah. Yeah,
been a long time. And even, Colby Wooden made some plays. So seeing, I feel like it's specifically interior defensive line. Like, don't talk about Kenny Clark. You mentioned right at the start, Devontae Wyatt had the best game of his career, far and away. He looked unstoppable. And then behind him, you got Brooks, you got Wooden. Chris, that's good. That's good stuff. It is really exciting to think, because I think looking at this defense, we all looked at safety and the interior as the clear weaknesses going into the year, and interior defensive line is looking deeper than I can ever remember. And again, it's one game, but it's encouraging to see as a start for what this defense can turn into. Yeah,
I'm with you. Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. Awesome. So that 38. What was it? 38 to
20.
20. Well, yeah, I almost said 14. Yeah, that seemed too good. Yeah, 38 to 20.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, that would have been funny. But 38 to 20 was still very funny. Very good time for everyone. So now, before we head out, real quick, so we got obviously the Falcons. Going to be, another road game. Could potentially be shorthanded. We'll see about Jones and Watson, potentially Clay Walker as well. So I guess overall, what would you say is, the key to victory for the Packers? And let's for now assume that, their playmakers will play. That could obviously change, but what do you see as, Packers want to guarantee a win in Atlanta, they have to do X?
Really the same thing that they did in Chicago, just relentless pressure. Because, if you control the line of scrimmage, if you win in the line of scrimmage, win in the trenches, then you set the tone for the game. So it's going to be hard to pick against the Packers right now if their pass rush continues to play this well. And, Desmond Ridder, he was really good on in third and fourth down situations last week too. He rivaled Jordan Love in that department, which is, it makes this matchup a little more intriguing. But Ridder, he's still a young quarterback, still a second year. What was that?
I feel like I saw Ritter was like specifically terrible on 3rd and 4th down.
No, he was on third. You saw probably on 3rd and 7+. He was terrible.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, 3rd and 7+. He was terrible. So if you can get them into those automatic pass situations, where they're a little backed up on 3rd down, then 3rd and long, then you can send the house. You can get after him. So get him in those situations, and you have a good chance of winning this game. Because remember, he's still a young quarterback, 2nd-year guy. He's going to make his fair share of mistakes as well. So get him in those situations, and you'll win the game.
Yeah, basically totally with you. I was going to say stop the run because it's not just Bijan Robinson. Tyler Algier, the rookie from last year, had a really good week 1. And then you have Bijan running and in the passing game. So for me, it's like Quay Walker, if he's playing, and Devondre Campbell, covering Bijan out of the backfield, which is obviously not easy, and just being there to plug up any holes because we know the Falcons, their whole thing is running the ball. It's like Arthur Smith's entire life. It's just run. So like you said, stop the run, force them into long situations, and make Desmond Ridder beat you. You make Desmond Ridder beat you, I think the Packers are walking out 2-0, almost certainly. I'm trying to read this. It's giving me a migraine. Oh, God. Ben, I mean, do you just sit around like cooking up these absurd scenarios? Because you always have one.
He's got a notepad fucking right there, right on his coffee table.
If it's like Saturday, like at this point, we're so close to the game where I would have to let in Jordan Love because I can't risk him, getting sick, getting a cold out, in the freezing rain. So
Jennifer Lopez, dude, what the fuck is wrong with that?
Isn't she married? That just doesn't seem like the right thing to do. Who knows if she's actually she seems to be in and out of relationships all the time. But J-Lo, I respect you and what you've done for the world because it's good stuff. Yeah. So Falcons, we both kind of agree. Stop the run, make Ridder beat you offensively. Just keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully Jones plays and let them go through the run. Oh, Chris, you guys are a bunch of freaks. Zach, before we head out, as we always do, or usually, or if we don't, we do it now. Quick score prediction for Packers Falcons in Atlanta, noon on Sunday.
Packers 24, Falcons 10.
I like it. 24-10. I will go 21-13. So a little closer, one possession
21
game.
what?
13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think pretty low scoring game because the Falcons defense actually is pretty decent. So just a hard fought game. The Packers come out on top.
Wait, Chris, you don't know? He doesn't know what a Dutch rudder is, and he's saying it.
Oh wait, no. Oh, so neither of them know.
It's. I don't know if you've seen Zach and Mary make a porno. Seth Rogen.
Yeah, a great movie.
Yeah, the what's his name? Lester the Molester.
Yeah, Chesley. Yeah, Lester or Chesley. Yeah, sorry.
You grab your wiener, they grab their wiener, and you grab each other's arms or something. You're just
you're doing this.
Yeah, he's like,
that is not gay.
It's not gay.
It's not gay. No. Seth Rogen is a genius. I will always believe this. The man just knows how to make people laugh. So love that. If you haven't seen that movie, I recommend it.
Well, if you know what it is, why would you say that you have no idea what it is, stupid? This kid's a fucking troll. Can we get out of here, please?
Yeah, no, Chris, you're done. We're done with this whole situation. So everyone, before we head out, as you see at the bottom of the screen, make sure to give this show a follow on Twitter at @thepack_show. And of course, you can find all of us on Twitter. Myself, Book of Eli _NFL, Jen, Big Mac _4, Zach. Anything else you'd like to promote outside of Twitter?
No, man. I'm at Packer Report. I'm at heavy.com. Find me there. Heavy on Packers.
Heavy on Packers. Yeah. So, and also, of course, at Zachary J on Twitter. Everyone, Packers 1-0. Kick the Bears' ass. Enjoy it. Make Bear fans nuts. I mean, as Zach said earlier, this can't be over. Like, we have to be milking this for as long as we can. So just do it. Even if it seems like it's overkill, it's not. Just do it. Enjoy it. Have fun.
And like I said today, I will not be better. I will not rise above it. I will not be the bigger man. Fuck no.
No, we've been doing that for years, and there's no need for it. They deserve it, and they're going to get it, and it's going to be fun. So everyone, we will see you next week at 2-0. Go Pack Go.